There was a time when people drank root beer to purify the blood. Then, in 1960, that same beverage was found to contain a compound that caused cancer in laboratory mice. From health tonic to biological suspect, it sounds like a 180-degree reversal. So what was root beer? Really a healing elixir or a sugar-coated chemical mistake? This story doesn't begin in a soda factory. It begins in the forests of North America, where tree roots were dug up not for refreshment, but for medicine. Then modern science entered the scene, armed with microscopes, lab mice, and a decision that forced an entire industry to reinvent itself. Long before plastic bottles and aluminum cans, Native Americans used sassafras root as a traditional remedy. They boiled the bark and roots into a drink to treat fever, aches, and skin conditions. Sassafras has a sweet, warm, slightly spicy aroma, a scent that reminds many people more of cough syrup than beer. When European settlers arrived, they quickly adopted the practice. The 18th and 19th centuries saw a boom in patent medicines, bottled remedies marketed as miracle cures. Sassafras became a star ingredient on the list of herbs believed to cleanse the body. The idea of purifying the blood sounds vague today, but at the time it made sense in the same way modern detox trends do. Feeling tired? Drink sassafras. Skin problems? Drink sassafras. Catch a cold? Still sassafras. When root beer emerged in the late 19th century, it inherited that healthy glow. It wasn't promoted merely as a beverage. It was marketed as something good for you, a fizzy drink with the atmosphere of a clinic. Everything seemed harmless, until science began examining the molecules more closely. And one chemical name surfaced, safrole. Safrole is the compound responsible for sassafras's signature aroma. If you smell traditional root beer, the instantly recognizable scent comes largely from safrole. The problem arose in the late 1950s, when researchers began testing safrole on laboratory animals. The results were unsettling. When mice were fed high doses of safrole over long periods, rates of liver cancer increased significantly. High doses did not mean a casual sip. It meant sustained, heavy exposure amounts far beyond normal consumption. But data is data. In 1960, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, FDA, banned the use of safrole as a food additive. The ruling did not target root beer alone, but it struck at the heart of the drink, because safrole was central to its original flavor profile. Imagine banning the primary spice in a beloved dish. It would be like prohibiting caffeine in coffee. The industry couldn't simply ignore it. Root beer now faced two choices: disappear along with natural sassafras extract, or reinvent itself through modern chemistry. It chose reinvention. After the ban, manufacturers could no longer use natural sassafras extract containing safrole. So, they did what the food industry does best. They recreated the flavor. They either removed safrole from sassafras extracts or developed artificial flavorings that mimicked the taste and aroma without including the castivant. Controversial molecule. It's similar to removing caffeine from coffee to create decaf. The familiar flavor remains, but the chemistry changes. The result? Root beer didn't vanish. It changed its formula. The version you drink today contains little to no natural safrole. Its flavor is carefully engineered in laboratories, measured down to parts per million. Parts per million sounds dramatic, but think of it this way. If you had 1,000,000 drops of water, only a few drops of flavoring could transform the entire scent. Interestingly, most consumers never noticed the transition. There were no widespread protests, no prolonged media crisis. Root beer continued quietly, almost as if the controversy had never happened. Yet its story reflects something much larger: the shifting boundary between tradition and science. A substance once considered a health remedy can become restricted after a series of controlled experiments. And that raises an uncomfortable question. How many of today's miracle products might be viewed differently 50 years from now? Root beer is no longer a forest remedy brewed from wild roots. It is a product of laboratories, regulations, and scientific data. From tree root to synthetic chemistry, a transformation that wasn't loud but was undeniably dramatic. The next time you take a sip and taste that sweet, herbal note spreading across your palate, remember that behind it lies a scientific investigation and a regulatory decision that permanently reshaped its formula. And if you're fascinated by stories where food, science, and law collide like this, there's a long list waiting to be uncovered. Perhaps next time we'll explore another familiar product that was once labeled dangerous and later reconsidered.